but I'm gonna show you how to grow your arms. No bullshit, just 100% truth. I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna tell you and show you a format that you can use to progressive overload your arms and make gains quick. A lot of gotta be a little tedious about it in order to ensure that you're doing it. So that's gonna conclude the video. I hope this makes sense. I really try to make this simple. If it's not simple or if you're confused, please leave a comment because
what the fuck? What is going on YouTube? If you're new to this channel, my name is Austin Pace. I'm a 22-year-old college student, fitness trainer, and entrepreneur. And in this video, I'm going to continue what I felt was some unfinished business from my last video I posted on the same topic. And I'm going to be providing even more value by giving you guys, just an overview of an ARM program that is going to work for you. And I think it's important to understand why it would work. So we're going to go over why some ARM programs do work and why others don't. And this really comes down to just basic foundational principles. We're also going to go over some other important variables that will alter your results for any program, really. Then I'm going to provide a layout of an ARM program that you can use that will literally be surefire to set you up for success and to see nothing but results. So building up your arms and getting big arms is literally demanded by pretty much everyone who's into weightlifting. And if you're browsing on the internet, on bodybuilding.com, on YouTube, wherever it may be, there are just countless ARM programs out there. So I believe the reason that most ARM programs out there do not work is simply because they are just cookie cutter. And that term gets thrown around all the time, but essentially what that means is the program is the same for me, as it is for you, as it is for Billy, as it is for Tommy. Regardless of who is using it, they are doing the same exact thing. And the reason this is a problem is because there are so many other variables when it comes to an individual that is going to dictate if a certain program works for them or not, which we're going to get into more of those variables here in a sec. So in my opinion, if you do download an ARM program, and if you really aren't required to really set up and allocate exercises and do some stuff yourself manually and be able to customize it yourself a little bit, then it's most likely a cookie cutter program. Another reason a lot of ARM programs do not work is because there is simply too much variation. Now, I would guess that the people who are searching for these ARM programs and who are using them are most likely beginner or intermediate lifters. Doing 5 or 6 different exercises for your biceps, for your triceps, and each muscle individually is just completely unnecessary. You are going to see more progress if you narrow down your exercise selection and you focus on mastering these exercises that you do choose. And ultimately, it's just going to simplify your data and the progression that you are making with these exercises and allow you to easier dictate if a certain exercise is working, is providing you growth, if you are getting stronger at it, rather than manage and trying to keep track of so many exercises. Now, I believe a reason that an ARM program would work would be if it did have proper progressive overload schemes and provided the correct amount of volume for a specific individual to use to see results. If you really are serious about growing your arms and this is a priority to you, you're going to have to take away volume from your other muscle groups to be able to allocate more focus and efforts towards your ARM training. And really what this comes down to is having periodization within your ARM program. So a few variables that do matter and will alter the results that an individual will get from using an ARM program would be something like, are you a beginner? Are you intermittent? How long have you been lifting? And for the time you have been lifting, what have you been doing? And I think the majority of people searching for ARM programs, downloading them, and even watching this video probably fall into the beginner or maybe intermittent category. But knowing this and being able to answer yourself, how long have I been training properly, or how long have I just been lifting weights in general, is important to know. Another important variable would be, are you performing the ARM exercises correctly? Do you have good form? Are you using a full range of motion? Because I really hope by now, with all the fitness information on YouTube and the internet, you would understand that the amount of weight that is on the bar or the exercise you're doing does not matter. If you really want to increase the size of your muscle tissue, grow the size of your arms, this is going to come down to hypertrophy training, and you're going to have to leave your ego at the door, start using exercises at a weight you can perform in the given rep range without any breakdown of form, and get stronger from there. So this next one's probably the most important in my opinion. But if you're trying to get bigger, if you're trying to add size to your muscles,
how many calories are you eating?
To truly benefit and see the most optimal results from hypertrophy training, you need to be eating in a caloric surplus. And yes, you need to be tracking calories, but you should also be making sure you're eating enough protein per day. Very common rule of thumb, just eat 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. I think a good weight gain rate per week for a beginner might be about 1 pound a week. So if you took 2 beginners, ran them on the same ARM program The beginner who is not tracking his calories, doesn't know if he's eating enough protein, maintains or possibly even loses weight, is literally not going to see the progression, the strength and hypertrophy results that the person who is tracking their calories and eating in a surplus and eating enough protein throughout the whole program will. The last variable I want to mention is your recovery and your sleep. You know, I think this is something really important to consider and probably often overlooked. If you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours per night, you're not going to recover as well. Your progress with these exercises isn't going to be as linear, and you're not just going to see as much results as you would if you just slept more. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, I'm going to give you a layout and a structure for you to use to create an ARM program that is literally going to be surefire, give you results as long as you follow it and follow the principles I'm going to give you along with it. Alrighty, so the way I'm going to do this is take you all through some parts of my 15-week ARM program ebook that I do offer on my website, and we are specifically going to take a further look at mesocycle number 1, the overview of it, the structure, the exercise selection, and each week's workouts and how you will be progressing with your exercises. So like I mentioned, when we look at this overview, this is a 4-week mesocycle, aka a 4-week program, and this says that it should be followed by a deload week. Now, if you are not super fatigued and you do not feel that a deload is necessary for your body to recover and go into the next mesocycle fresh, then you don't necessarily have to take a deload, but it is optional and recommended if you do feel it's necessary. Now right here, it says that this 4-week mesocycle will focus on straight sets only. I really want to emphasize that because I think a big mistake a lot of people make when they start a new program to try to grow their arms, they will immediately start throwing in drop sets, supersets, things to get a lot of blood to your muscles, to give you a nasty pump and really just burn out as much as you can. That is not the best approach. And keep in mind that the main driver of hypertrophy and muscle growth is going to be that progressive overload. So we really don't want to pull our special tricks out of the bag, such as drop sets, supersets, giant sets, out for this first mesocycle, because we want to be able to use progressive overload and do more volume by applying those intensity techniques later down the road in future mesocycles. I do believe if you are a beginner or if you've never trained with this amount of structure and tracking your calories, you can see pretty fair results in just 1 month, but we want maximum results. And I think that approaching it as 3 mesocycles, a 15-week ARM emphasis program, will allow you enough time with certain exercises and variations to see these results. And this really stems from a long-term approach in trying to build your arms. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, rather than using a ton of variation and too many exercises for our arms, we are going to instead use a very select few of exercises for our biceps, triceps, shoulders, and forearms, and use down sets to accumulate more volume with these particular exercises. I think it's a good idea to approach this mesocycle and this ARM emphasis program with a focus on mastering the form of the exercises you choose. You know, you want to become a practitioner with these select few of exercises you do choose to use, and really make sure that you're taking the muscle through its full range of motion to get maximum recruitment and see the best results. Although I said rest 2 to 4 minutes between each set, that is pretty subjective, and I think as long as you feel fully recovered before your next set, you can go ahead and go on. So this is really important, and I think it is the easiest to track your progress and record your sets and reps if you keep the weight you use the same for each set. So I recommend choosing a weight for week 1 that is going to allow you to hit the upper tier of the reps and the rep range, with leaving maybe 2 or 3 reps left in the tank. The reason being, when week 4 comes, you are hopefully using 10 to 30 pounds heavier than you were from week 1, and you are able to still stay within that rep range with good form, most likely taking each set to failure. So here is a list of exercises for the 4 specific muscle groups we will be emphasizing for this 4-week mesocycle. And this is pretty simple. Just take a look at the list and select 3 exercises per muscle group that you want to use for this month. Also, for the 3 exercises you do select for each muscle group, I want you to label each of them A, B, or C. And just know that the one that you label A for each muscle group will be the one that you use the most volume for throughout the program. I should first mention that this program is a 4-day split, meaning there will be 4 separate workouts on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Here is Monday's workout, workout number 1. This is a shoulder emphasis workout, and I did my best to make the layout of this pretty simple and self-explanatory. So under the exercise column, you will insert whatever exercise you selected that is labeled in parentheses, and you will perform that exercise with the given rep range. Now remember what I said earlier about choosing a weight to use for week 1, and I want you to record that weight under the weight column for each exercise. Week 1, you might have to guesstimate because you may have never done any of these exercises and don't know where your strength is at, but you should rather be on the safe, lighter side rather than starting out too heavy. Now below the table, I show you the progressive scheme, and this is giving you an overlook of the 4 weeks, and it's really simple. So we are on week 1 of 4, which means you're only going to perform 2 sets per each exercise. Week 2, you simply add a set and try to add 5 to 10 pounds per exercise. You do the same for week 3 and the same for week 4. This will allow you to overload every single week and accumulate more volume throughout the mesocycle. Here is Wednesday, workout number 2. It is a bicep emphasis workout, and you are going to use this template exactly how you used Monday's workout. Workout number 3 on Thursday, tricep emphasis workout. And then your final workout is Saturday, workout number 4, and it is an even allocation of volume for each muscle group. Now, I highly recommend going back in this video and screenshotting each individual workout, writing it down, and really taking note of the progressive scheme so you can apply this yourself. And if you happen to notice, there are some various rep ranges you will be using for each exercise, but for exercise A, it will be the same rep range throughout the mesocycle, same for exercise B and C for each muscle group. Now here's a look at the majority of the frequently asked questions in this ebook. Common question is, can you add chest, back, and leg exercises during this mesocycle? And the answer is yes, you can, but for your chest and back, I would not do more than 6 to 10 sets per week. This will be enough to maintain the muscle size for your chest and back, but doing any more than that is going to take away from the progress and overload you'll be able to do with your arm training. Now for your legs, since they aren't really involved with this arm emphasis mesocycle, you can go ahead and do anywhere between 6 to 22 sets per week, and that's going to be solely up to you. Can you do more exercise for arms? I would not recommend that. As you will see towards week 4, when you experience it, it is a shit ton of volume, and you will be pretty fatigued. So doing any more is really going to take away from the program. Now, can you use this program while dieting or losing weight? Yes, you can, but you're not going to experience the hypertrophy and muscle growth as you would if you were in a calorie surplus, and you just may not recover as efficiently. And of course, if you do not know how to do an exercise, you can always choose one that you do know how to do or do have access to, or you can contact me and I'll send you a tutorial for it. Now, a very important question, can a beginner use this program? Yes, if you are a beginner, like I'm talking less than 1.5 years of lifting, I would probably only repeat mesocycle number 1, which is the one I showed in this video. But going back to the table of contents, if you do purchase and download this ebook from my website, this is a 15-week program, so you'll have 3 mesocycles. Mesocycle number 2 and 3 has specific intensity techniques added to allow you to continue progressive overloading and see the results you want. I also include a deload template and calorie intake recommendations, and also a MyFitnessPal setup that I did not show in this video, as well as another page of Q&A. I hope this video helped and gave you a better understanding of why an ARM program would work, why it wouldn't, and gave you a layout for you to use to start seeing results. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. AMP Trainers hats now available on the website. Hop on if you want. I'll see you next time.